Hello and welcome to the Homeowner Prep podcast. I'm your host, Eric Halan, and this podcast was created to provide real-world advice and accountability for first-time home buyers. We'll be interviewing industry experts, providing some how-tos, and talking with first-time home buyers about their personal experiences. If that sounds interesting to you, please be sure to subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the little bell to be notified when new episodes release. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to another episode of Homeowner Prep. I'm excited for today's content. We're really going to be diving in and talking specifically to those folks who want to buy a house and maybe that you've tried to get pre-approved, you tried to go about it and do it on your own, but for whatever reason, you just weren't ready to buy yet. So we're going to talk about how easy it is nowadays, especially in 2022, for you to get ready. And a lot of folks talk about, hey, what's your first step to buying a house? I would liken this information to this is crawling to that first step. So really, if you're ready to buy already, if you've already got the credit, you've already got, your down payment saved and, you have money for closing costs and you're good to go, you're pre-approved, that's great. Trust me, that is awesome. That's awesome news and should be celebrated. But this information that we're going to be providing today is if you've tried to go about the pre-approval process and for some reason you weren't qualified, maybe the credit wasn't there, or maybe you didn't have enough money set aside for a down payment or for your closing costs yet. So we're going to go over 3 different strategies that you could take advantage of so that way you can still buy a home in 2022. The first thing I want to talk about is actually something that's been around for a long time, but has opened some doors in the last maybe 5 years for folks who are just trying to get their foot into real estate. And that strategy is actually called a REIT, a real estate investment trust. And what a real estate investment trust is a way for you to get ownership into either residential or commercial property on a very small level, so for a very small investment, but it gives you some ownership in real property. Now, a publicly traded REIT is going to be traded on all your stock markets you would expect, New York Stock Exchange, and what it's going to do is give you an opportunity just to buy shares in property. So what I mean by that is, a REIT may focus on specifically buying apartment complexes in the South. Right? And say you want to get some ownership, you want to start building up some savings and really seeing your money work for you while you're waiting to buy a house. So you may decide that, hey, I'm going to buy some shares of this REIT. And what's going to happen is that real estate investment trust is going to pay out dividends. They have to pay out 90% of their dividends in earnings on a monthly basis. And so that is going to be a way for you to start to build up some savings and build up some return on the money that you put forward. So if your issue was, hey, I went to buy a house, but I didn't have enough money for a down payment, if you're buying a typical FHA home, using the FHA loan, it's going to be a 3.5% down payment. So if you're looking at $500,000, as a purchase price, you say, oh, well, I don't quite have that amount of money, but I do have a couple $1,000s that I can invest and I really want that to start building up. How can I do that? A REIT may be an alternative for you because the savings account is not really going to give you the return that you need. In the meantime, a REIT is a publicly traded real estate investment trust that is focused on real estate. So you own real estate. You have shares in that company. Again, it doesn't have to be residential, could be commercial. There are REITs out there that actually just focus on medical buildings. And so, if that's kind of your cup of tea, if that's the direction you want to go, you can put up, as little as $1,000 to get in. And what's going to happen is you can look at obviously look at the prospectus. I'm not an investor, investment strategist. I don't do this as a living. I am in real estate. So get some real world advice. But, if you're looking at ways to build up some savings that way you're ready to buy a house, this may be one alternative for you. If I take $1,000 and I start to earn 10% on my money, surely I can build up that savings faster and be ready to put the down payment on the house that I want. Talk to a tax advisor about what are, the tax implications of, taking those profits and investing it into a property. But that is a fast way to build up your savings and has a very small barrier of entry. So again, you can look up real estate investment trusts They are available. They are publicly traded. You can invest, with as little as $1,000 and actually start to get in the game of real estate. So that'd be one strategy. The second strategy that I want to talk about is actually something that's been on the rise, something that we've heard a lot about on a personal level, but this is now on the real estate side, and there's some opportunities here in 2022 that you can get involved in, and that's crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is a way for multiple people to pool their money together in order to buy real estate. So if you look at, there's a couple of the big names in the business. One is actually called the NYCE App, which is NYCE. If you look at the NYCE App, what they do is they are teamed up right now with Temple University to build dormitory housing for the college. And so you're actually going to be investing in commercial property, and you can actually get involved with as little as $100. So, they have a proven track record on some of the projects that they've already completed and they've already raised the funds for. And then they have some projects that are coming that you can get involved in now. So again, with as little as $100, you can start to get into commercial property and start to invest in real property and build up that savings that you're ready to buy your first home when that time comes. One of their other competitors, I would say, is FundRise. FundRise, F-U-N-D, Rise. FundRise is actually similar in nature. It's crowdsourcing, crowd-funded real estate investments, but it's going to actually allow you to get involved in a strategy that fits your needs. So maybe you're thinking more long-term. Maybe you have a few years out from, buying your first place, and you just want to see those returns and want to see your money work over the next 3, 5, 10 years versus, looking for a quick return on your investments. So FundRise will look at your strategy, look at your tolerance for risk, and figure out, what are the best investments to put you into. And again, this is all about you as you're waiting to wait actively. Don't just wait around and expect, your savings account to build up enough and fast enough for you to take advantage of getting into your first place. You need something that's going to accelerate a lot faster. The time value of money in real estate is very, very important. It's not just about, do I have enough for the down payment, but it also becomes a point of how much is the home going to appreciate while I'm waiting. So then it becomes that much more difficult to get in. I have this conversation with a lot of first-time home buyers who are thinking about rates, and they're trying to get their credit right so that they're, can take advantage of a better rate. And I totally understand that. But the thing is, while you're waiting for your credit to go up a few points, could be, a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, what's happening in real estate around you? Are the homes that you're looking at going up $5,000, $10,000 a month so that it's going to really just offset that rate at the end of the day? So you're going to be paying a higher price while you waited. So look at those types of things. And that's very important as we discuss some of these alternatives to really saving and investing your money wisely. You got to figure out, how much time do I have? How much can I save up in that time so that I'm ready to buy my first place? And how much are homes appreciating for in the neighborhoods that I want to live in? So, really understand not just how much money I need, but how much time I need and what you're working against. So again, the second strategy here is crowdsourcing, crowd-funded investments. But look at your time strategy with each of these, whether it's the NYCE investments or if it's FundRise. Look at how much time you're going to need before you're truly ready to buy your first place, because ultimately you're just doing this to get you there. This is not going to be a retirement planning investment. We have other opportunities to do those types of things. This is really to build up your savings quickly so that you can buy a home in 2022. So check both of those out. They're definitely great opportunities that weren't always around that are now available to you. One case in point is actually, if you look at, getting into commercial property and some of these investment opportunities that FundRise offers and the NYCE app offers, you used to have to be an accredited investor in order to get into these types of deals, meaning you had to earn $250,000 a year and some other stipulations. Nowadays, anybody can get into these deals. So again, with as little as $100 or $1,000, you can now get into investing in residential, commercial property that's real property that you can go to and visit and have actual fractional ownership of that property. So those times are changing. There's great opportunities out there, and those opportunities are set up for you to succeed. Another strategy that, we don't talk a lot about, people don't really think about. I actually, help a lot of military clients with this strategy, which is buying a property with someone else. If you're looking to buy your first place, and let's say you're going from a situation where you're currently renting, you have roommates, and maybe they're on that same path. Maybe they're ready to buy a home as well. It may actually be easier for you to qualify together. There may be some opportunities for you to actually put your money together. If one person has better credit than the other, you combine those things to maybe it's actually easier and you can get into property faster by doing it together. And the strategy is to get in, and obviously you want to make sure that, whoever you're buying a home with is somebody that you trust, somebody that's going to be around, somebody who's not going to bail on you and leave you with the mortgage to pay. But ultimately, if you have people in your circle that you trust, that you know will be there, and they're on that same path of trying to build wealth, trying to buy their first place, why not buy together? And the reason why I brought that up on the military side is because there are a lot of military personnel, soldiers who can buy with other soldiers, who can use their VA benefits together. If there's 3 or 4 soldiers who are buying a house together, there's opportunities for you to then either buy a bigger place, buy a place and be able to invest and fix it up. There's just endless opportunities by pulling your money together. So don't go about it alone. Whether you're looking for information or if you're just on a path of trying to go from renting to owning, find somebody who can help you get there. Find some folks who are on a similar path, and maybe you guys can come together and make that a reality. So definitely think about pulling that money together. Think about qualifying sooner. These are just 3 strategies that you can use while you're waiting. Again, actively waiting to get approved to buy a property. You're not only thinking about the money, you're not only thinking about your credit scores, but you got to be thinking about time value. Think about how fast you can get into a property. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, the best time to buy a property was yesterday. So, be thinking about that. Be thinking about opportunities that are now available in 2022 that weren't always available to you. Those are just 3. There are definitely more. If you have any questions about, different things that you can do to get into a property sooner, or just where you're at, you may be closer than you think. Just reach out to us. We'd love to connect you with a professional, a lender that can help you kind of see where you're at and put a game plan together to help you get to buying your first place. As always, that you can visit our website, download our ebook called Stop Paying Rent. You can visit our website at homeownerprep.com/ebook. You can download it. It's a free ebook for you, but it's really going to lay out some step-by-step 10,000-foot view and start to break things down from there. So that way you get a better understanding of it, exactly what it's going to take to get from where you are to where you want to be. That resource is always available to you, again, at homeownerprep.com/ebook. I hope you got some value from today's content. I look forward to, hearing from you, getting any questions about your particular situation, and helping you get there and helping you buy your first home faster. Have a great one. I hope you got some value from today's episode. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing this show, be sure to share it with them. And if you're listening to the podcast, we'd love for you to drop us a review. We'd also love to hear from you if you have any questions. So reach out to us on Instagram at Homeowner Prep. Who knows, we may read your review and answer your question on one of our future shows.